We are done with the consonant sounds, vowel sounds, listening activities, minimal pairs. Now today let us start off with a very, very important aspect of EAT. Now all this while, whatever you learned, the 44 sounds, we call them the segmental features. Because I told you in the earlier class, 44 sounds, 44 phonemes, 44 segments. They're all the same. So segmental features. These are the segmental features. We need to go beyond the segmental features. Now, to speak a language, we need to go beyond the segmental features, and we call it supra-segmental features. So till here it is the sound level. Now, supra-segmental is beyond the sound level. So what comes beyond the sound level? You pause, stress, rhythm, intonation, all these things come here. Yes, syllable comes here itself. Pause, stress, rhythm, intonation. Now quickly tell me, what do you mean by pause? Short pause. Now there is one more name for supra-segmental features. What is that? When you open some of these books on phonetics, you will get another word. It begins with P. Prosodic features. Prosodic. Prosodic features or supra-segmental features. They are all the same. Now what do you mean by pause?
Where do we stop?
Yes. When you are reading, you are guided by full stop, comma. What is this? No. Colon. What is this?
That is
Colon dash.
Colon dash.
What is this? Semicolon. What is this? Hyphen. This.
Question mark.
This.
Inverted commas. Bracket.
When do you use single? When do you use double quotes?
directly
When we refer to? Some days. Okay, single?
highlighting important.
Both you're saying same. Homework for you. Find out when do you use single, when do you use double quotes. Okay. Now when you're reading, you're guided by all these punctuation marks, you take a pause. But when you're, No, apostrophe is just part of a word. Like, what's your name? Manju. This is Manju's book, Manjula's book. We don't say Manjula's book. There's no pause. Part of the word. Okay, so when you're reading, you're guided by these marks of punctuation. So when there is a full stop, you take a pause here, wherever it is. But when you're speaking, you don't say, today we have a cultural program, comma. So all of us are waiting to take a break, comma. We need a lot of practice. We didn't get enough time. I don't know when madam is going to leave the class. Exclamation mark. Yes. So how do you say? In your tone itself, there should be some kind of a pause. Today we have cultural program. We have lots to practice and we do not have time. We don't know when madam is going to leave the class. Yes. So
Told me in half an hour.
yeah, but I'm sure she will stick to her words. Yes. Now, when you're reading, you have some full stop here. There is a comma somewhere this side. Will you wait till the comma comes when you're reading? Or will you take a pause before also? Yes. Sometimes you take a pause here also. Sometimes you may take here. So, how will you decide when to take a pause? Meaning, situation, chunk. Yeah, what do you mean by chunking now? Grouping. So, you group certain words together. The group of words which make some sense. So, we call that a sense group. Sense group. You don't go on chunking wherever you feel like. Now, for example, cultural program is one set. You don't break it here and say, today we have cultural program in the evening. Your pronunciation may be perfect, cultural also, program also, but then to see the meaning, does it make any sense? We have cultural program in the afternoon. We have cultural program in the afternoon. We are celebrating the cultural program. We don't say we are celebrating the cultural program. We're celebrating the cultural program. That also is bad. So you need to know where to take a pause. All right? Now, so this chunking, like teaching learning process, discourse oriented pedagogy. So we don't say this, we follow the discourse oriented pedagogy. Does it make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. So you need to bring certain words together. Sometimes just after one word, you may take a pause. Like, therefore, that, so that. We don't say, so that it will come here. Therefore, because, no, why because? Only because. Chunking and all these things, your pauses you need to follow even when you're reading poetry, not just prose. Sometimes different poets have different line schemes. Sometimes the full stop is here. Sometimes it may be here. So what do? Will you go on stopping at the end of each line? You will not. So you will have to continue. You have to go here and then stop. Some will have equal length of lines. So automatically the rhyming words fall in place. But sometimes not all poems will have rhyming words, isn't it? They may have alternate, they have different schemes, line schemes. So you need to move to the next line and then continue. Now I'll give you one sentence. You mark the punctuation here. Write this line 2 times. Who said Kate? Write this 2 times. Kate is the name of a person. Who said Kate? Who said Kate? So where will you mark the punctuation here? Come. Write in your books, all of you. Is it end? That's the end? Okay, here what will you do? Is there only one way of saying this? Come. There also you put the same thing. Leave it. Okay, fine. Think. Asma. Come and mark. Asma, no? Your name is? Come. Oh yeah. Up. Go.
Who said Kate? Who said Kate?
Make any changes here. Any change? Give it in. Careful. Did you all try in your books? Yes. You did? Come.
Changes is there in the first sentence.
Very good. Ille. Okay, good. Joint effort. No, I think more or less the same. So, who said comma? Kate. Who said Kate? Asma's beautiful Kate we are going to keep here. Now, what is the difference between these 2 sentences? Someone said Kate, so you're asking who said that? So who said Kate? Say that.
Who said Kate?
Here? Who said Kate? Very good. Who is the speaker here? It could be you, it could be me. So we are asking, we want to know, somebody said Kate, so we want to know, who said Kate? Say that, who said Kate?
Who said Kate?
So here, who is the speaker? Kate. So what is Kate asking? Who. Very good. Repeat. Who said Kate?
Who said Kate?
Who said
Who
Kate?
said Kate?
Who said
Who
Kate?
said Kate?
So when you're reading, when you're speaking, you need to give pauses, you need to change the tone. See how the meaning changes. Who said Kate?
Who said Kate?
Who said Kate?
Who said Kate?
So don't just read who said Kate. So that emotion, you should be present in that situation there when you're reading it. All right? Now hang him, not leave him. Hang him, not leave him. This is more or less a reasonable sentence. Hang him, not leave him. So the judge was in a hurry, he didn't know what to, he just wrote it and gave it off. And what will you do? Where will you put the comma? So hang him not is, you're a very kind person. Hang him, not leave him. Done. Okay, one more sentence quickly. Let's go later. We can have a P-I-Z-Z-A. How will you read? Wait. All of you say Pete. 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 Pizza. It's not pizza. Pizza Hut is wrong. Pizza. Today onwards, you're only going to eat pizza. Okay, now tell me, where are you going to mark? Let's go later, we can have a pizza. So what are you going to do now? Let's go later, we can have a pizza. So what are you going to do first?
First eat pizza.
First eat pizza. Let's go later. Now, let's go.
Later we can have a pizza.
Later we can have a pizza. So what will you do now? Go. Pizza later. Understood? Yes. So you should make your students also come up with these sentences. Okay. First you should give them and ask them to read differently. Only then they will know how to give a pause at the right places. And they should be made to understand that a pause is a very, very simple thing. But it can change the entire meaning of the sentence. So that you should make the children understand. All right? Okay, now we'll come to the next very, very important part. That is stress. I know you're all stressed out. Just briefly, I'll just talk about it and then we'll stop. Stress. Now, what do you mean by stress? Extra force, extra pressure. Yes? Okay. Why do we need to do that? To highlight. All right. Any language, even in your mother tongue, we don't give equal importance to all the words or all parts of the word also. Some part get highlighted, some get less stress. Now there we have two types. One is a word stress and the other is a sentence stress. Now what do we do in a word stress? Where do we stress? Is it letter? We stress on syllables. And in a sentence stress, where do we stress?
Words.
Words. On words. And again within the words, say here, on syllables. On particular syllables. So ultimately, what are we stressing? Syllable. So word stress, sentence stress, you're stressing on a word. Here we are stressing on a syllable. Now what is a syllable? With one vowel? Sound. Good. So, see, smallest part of the sound is a phoneme. Smallest unit of sound. Not smallest part. Smallest unit of sound is phoneme. Next in the hierarchy comes a syllable. Sometimes a phoneme itself can be a syllable, provided it has a vowel sound. We'll take a look. So, smallest part of a word, you can just write. So, what is a syllable? Just write syllable. Smallest part of a word. Smallest part of a word where the nucleus is a vowel sound. It may have a consonant sound, it may not have a consonant sound, but it should definitely have a vowel sound. Now, what is a phoneme? Just write phoneme also below that. Smallest unit of a sound. Smallest unit of sound is phoneme. Now, when you're talking about syllabification, how many phonemes in this word now? Three. Right. I said how many phonemes, not how many syllables. That is a googly question. You should be alert. So 3 phonemes. What are those? K, A, T. But when you are speaking, you will not say such a beautiful K, A, T. I have a K, A, T. In one breath, you'll just say, I have a cat. I have a dog. I have a kitten. So in one breath, you're just going to say this. So it has one syllable. What do we call word with one syllable? Monosyllabic. Mono is one. All of us say syllable?
Syllable.
Syllabic.
Syllabic.
Monosyllabic.
Monosyllabic.
Okay. Now we have tiger. How many syllables in this? What are those? Tiger. Die. What do you mean by disyllabic? Give me more examples for disyllabic. Farmer, neighbor, tunnel, father, mother, brother, sister. Monosyllabic examples. School, come, go, sit, stand, push, pull. Okay, now we'll come to a word which has more, 3 or more. Yes, can you think of something? Examination, population. Today what do you have? How many syllables in this? Culturals. Culturals. So according to the number of the vowel sound, we are going to divide the word into syllables. So we have 3, we call it poly. Poly means many, many, many. More examples? Independence, celebration, program. Program, how many? Is it disyllabic or poly? Program, that's all. It looks like a very long word, but it's just got 2. Program. So in phonetics, we are not going by the spelling, we are just going by the sound. Now look at this word. Cartoon.
Cartoon.
2.
Oh.
Cartoon. Yes. You may have double letters, but the sound is just one. A and U. So we're taking one as a sound unit here. U. Now, your own names. How many syllables does your name have? Wait, no. Uzma. Who's got a long name? Jagan Mohan Reddy. Okay, we'll break him into syllables. Not pieces, syllables. Jagan, how many? Gan, Mo, Han, Red, D. 6. Understood now? So when you have to teach your children, you just keep a hand below your chin. All of you do that? Don't touch it, but very close to your chin. Now say your name. Like Uzma. Now your name.
Ramesh.
Teacher. Say that.
Teacher.
All of you say teacher.
Teacher.
How many times are you touching here? That is because your jaw is moving here. Teacher. John, how many syllables? John.
1.
Johnny.
Johnny. 2.
Got it? Town.
Town.
Village.
Village.
Country. 2. Understood? Okay. Just like this, they are just reading the word. Cat, dog, stress. Phoneme. Yeah, to remember, but spelling and sound do not match. So that is not there. But you'll be needing the syllabification only to know where to mark the stress. Which syllable is getting more stress than the other syllables. So I'll just give you one example and then we'll stop. Now Venu asked a very important question. Why do we need to know syllabification? Write the word communication. Now tell me how many syllables are there in this word? Communication. 5. Now in between 2 consecutive consonant sounds. What do you mean by consecutive? Immediate. You are going to break it. Last rows, can you all see? Come. Mu. Ni. Ke. Shin. So now we know there are 5 syllables, but we don't know where to mark the stress. So just like that, if the word comes to you, how will you read the word? Will you say communication, 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 communication?
Same.
Which is better? Communication, pronunciation, examination, celebration. We want all your participation.
We are all want to participation.
Okay? So that we'll have some jubilation. So that is the reason we need to have the knowledge of syllabification. Got it? So where is the stress? So we mark a small vertical line like this. Before going to any rule, we need to know the names of these last 3 syllables. Any long polysyllabic word, there are names for this. Anything at the end, we call it ultimate. Just write this. That is the last syllable. Okay, before the ultimate, last but 1, what do you say? Second last. Just take a wild guess. Anything else? Penultimate. Penultimate. Penultimate, that is second last syllable. So ultimate, penultimate. And third last, luckily there is only till third last. So however long the word is, you will either mark it here or here or here. Okay? So knowledge of these 3 terms is very important. Anti, very good. A-N-T-E, not A-U-N-T-Y. Not anti, it is anti. Before penultimate. Anti-penultimate. What is A-N-T-I?
Opposite.
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 This is the third last syllable. Please repeat. Ultimate,
Ultimate.
penultimate,
Penultimate.
anti-penultimate.
Anti-penultimate.
Now, why I'm giving you this is some books will use last, second last, third last. Some will use these terms. So, after having come to RIE, you should be knowing names of both. Okay, so both the terms you should be able to understand. So, if it is a monosyllabic word, it is absolutely no problem. You just mark stress the beginning of the word. You just say, that's a cat, not a dog. That's a cat, not a dog. Say that.
That's a cat, not a dog.
Ah. So monosyllabic word, there is no problem. Problem of stress begins when you have disyllabic, polysyllabic. So next class when we meet on Monday, we'll be doing with the word stress and other sentence stress. All right? There is one important word that you need to say. What is this? Not just the anchors, everybody. Days. All if you say 3 times. Days, days, days. There is no word dias. Okay? I welcome you on to the days.
I welcome
Vedike.
onto the common
Stage.
days. Days.
Then, faculty. Members of faculty.
Members of faculty.
We don't say faculties. Faculties is some different compartments you have in your brain. Mental faculty, that faculty, this faculty. So, faculty.
Faculty.
And then, respect.
Faculty.
This is I, E sound. And one more. Honor. H is silent, no honor. Honorable. What is this? What is this? Able.
Able.
Now what is this? What's it now?
Honorable.
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 Here it is able, but here it is not honorable. Honorable.
Honorable.
So you're just swaying it like this. Honorable.
Honorable.
Got it? Days,
Days.
faculty,
Faculty.
respect,
Respect.
respected,
Respected.
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 ID again. Respected,
Respected.
honorable.
Honorable.
Okay, very good.
Faculty.
So throughout your
Honorable. Days.
life, you need to remember these words.
Respected.
So all the best.
Faculty.